Welcome to Your Vote Counts. John Pfeiffer, Cyndi Munson. Good to have you both back this week. The House ran very smoothly this week with the Eccles gone. I wonder how that happened. So let's how these things work. All right, the topic, corporal punishment for people with special needs. That's been the headline. It's all over the world about what happened in Oklahoma here, but there's lots to this story. Representative Munson, explain it to us.
Yeah, this week we questioned, debated a bill to end corporal punishment for students with special needs in our schools. This was a bipartisan bill, one that I thought would easily pass the House of Representatives. Unfortunately, it did not. All Democrats supported the bill. Unfortunately, the majority was not able to get it across the line. And it's very rare that the Democratic leader will stand up and debate in favor of a Republican's bill. But I did that because I felt like there are issues that are beyond politics, and this is one of them. When it comes to hitting a child or child abuse, it absolutely should not be accepted and should not be happening in our homes or in our schools, where we have some control to create some better policy.
It was interesting to see your, I need you to autograph my Washington Post deal that had you in that. It was a big national story, but there's a lot to the story.
What we're seeing is the legislative process in action. I mean, nothing's over till it's over. We still have lots of time to discuss and figure out where we need to go with this piece of legislation. What we're trying to do is avoid some unintended consequences. So we're taking the time. I think this bill maybe went to a vote a little bit too early, and that's probably my fault. But trying to get both sides of our own caucus on the aisle and make sure that we get all of the problems lined out. The people presenting this bill, I mean, Representative Talley, his wife's a longtime special education teacher. One of the people opposing it, Representative Randleman, did his dissertation on childhood discipline in the classroom. So we're just trying to make sure all the details get ironed out. Okay,
the story is a long way from being over. I doubt that the end of the story is covered as much as the beginning of the story. All right, but that brings something else up. There was a tweet that a statewide official did this week that got a lot of attention, and we just lost to Canada a plant, the Volkswagen plant. People are starting to ask, what is our image like when these sorts of stories make it into general circulation?
Well, we definitely need to make sure we tone down the political rhetoric, but far be it for me to let facts get in the way of a good political narrative. We lost the Panasonic last year to Kansas because Kansas offered Panasonic almost double our incentive package, which, by the way, they've come back this year and asked for more. We lost Volkswagen to Canada here just recently. I think that, and I believe that has way more to do with Canada's vast lithium resources and possible mining concerns that they get than anything to do coming out of political rhetoric out of Oklahoma City or Ottawa, either one.
We just said, don't let the facts get in the way of the political narrative. It's interesting that the stories are not fully developed. But your thoughts about the Oklahoma impression across the nation and internationally?
Yeah, when you look at these last few weeks and what our top state leaders have been sending out to, the message they've been sending out to the nation and the world, our state superintendent on public instruction said, hey, Oklahoma families, don't send your kids to our colleges and universities. And then the governor is quoted in the New York Times saying, if you don't believe what we believe, well, don't come here. And if you don't like what we're doing, then don't stay here. These are not messages that are very inviting and welcoming folks and companies to our state. At the end of the day, we've got to focus on the things that really help the human element of businesses, which is taking care of individuals and their families. We have a great tax environment. We all pride ourselves on that in this state, and so we've got to get to a place where we're focusing on the individuals we want to come and live in Oklahoma and run these businesses.
That sounds like a good bipartisan message. Hey, the other big story this week, the banks. We're going to talk about that, an appearance by the speaker on Hot Seat and what that meant right after this. Welcome back. The big story was the crisis of confidence in these big banks. These were not supposed to be too big to fail like SVB, but they did. Okay, and people came in, put money in. It's a different story in Oklahoma. I had the speaker on Hot Seat. We spent more time talking about banking than we did legislation. But the main thing he emphasized was that you know who your bankers are in Oklahoma. You know the officers and that sort of thing. It's really important in our state.
It is, and I think all Oklahomans can bank with 100% confidence here in their Oklahoma community banks. These banks are well regulated by our banking commissioner, and these are friends and family. These are members of your community. These are people you know. You should be able to feel free to walk into your local banks and ask to talk to the president, ask to talk to board members, talk to them about how they're handling risk management, how they're capitalized. This is a big difference between what's happening on these super big banks. These are our friends and neighbors. These are the people sponsoring Little League teams and and helping out our schools. So feel free, and everybody should have the confidence in these Oklahoma banks.
Absolutely. This week, I got a master's degree in banking just from reading Jill Castilla's tweets. Okay, that's how good these people are. You know these people, and they're important in your community as well.
Yeah, Jill in particular, who is a great leader in community banking. I actually did go to her Twitter account to get more informed on this issue and to ensure that Oklahoma banks are okay. I have been a customer, longtime customer of a community bank since I was 16 years old, and grateful for that and glad that I have confidence there. I represent two great local bankers, Gene Rainbow and David Rainbow, who run Bank First, and so I know that if I have questions, I can call them and get the information that I need. So here's a place where you see both of us agreeing that we can have great confidence in Oklahoma's banks.
Yeah, more urban, more country, and having the same sort of people, the same confidence in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stay on finance for just a moment. There's a budget process going on. People asking me, well, is the state going to have money to pay the bills? I think so is the answer, but you're keeping an eye on what's going on budget-wise.
Absolutely. We are halfway through the legislative session, which means those budget negotiations and discussions are going to be coming up very soon. And so for us, the House Democrats, we're most concerned about ensuring that we're funding public education, we're keeping public dollars in public schools, and we're ensuring that our core services have the funding that they need in order to serve our constituents. The governor talks a lot about savings, and I think this is a time where we can look at how can we help working families around the grocery state sales tax. It's been a long time issue for House Democrats to cut that state sales tax to get dollars back into the pockets of Oklahomans, and I think there's a lot of great work that we can do in the next 2 months.
Speaker was saying the same thing. We've got some money. Let's make some improvements. The money's in the bank, right?
Yes, it is. The state of Oklahoma is in a great shape financially. Because of some tough decisions we made a lot of years ago, we have significant savings where we can weather at least 1 or 2 years of any storm that comes at us in terms of a national recession. We need to start looking now at where do we do, what core services need funding, need increases in funding, and where are we able to give this money back to the people it actually belongs to, back to the citizens of the state of Oklahoma, whether that's cutting the grocery sales tax, whether that's lowering the income tax, whatever it is, we need to take some of this money out of savings and give it back to the people who it actually belongs to.
Last thought, the House ran well this week without Eccles. What is going on here? Who's running the floor?
This leader, John.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, go figure on that one. Hey, thanks for watching Your Vote Counts. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all of those at Mitchell Talks.